was addressed to 10 Columbus Circle. We don't know who specifically it was addressed to, but it did arrive. It was received in the mailroom of the building. The staff there alerted authorities, alerted building security to the device, and that's when the NYPD responded. And obviously, they became really concerned almost immediately.
Shimon, just very briefly, what do we know about the package that was delivered to the Time Warner Center? Why was it suspicious? What raised the alarm bells?
Right, Wolf. So what raised the alarm bell was when they x-rayed the package, they found what looked like metal material, perhaps a pipe bomb. We've talked about other pipe bombs or other bombs inside metal construction that has been delivered at other locations. So that immediately had everyone concerned. And then also we're being told that there were wires, what appeared to be wires inside this package that also concerned authorities. Now, obviously, that's what an x-ray showed. But once they get inside it, once they feel safe enough, the bomb squad does, that they can go in it and actually unpack it and see what's inside, we may hear a different story. But given the response here by the NYPD and the FBI, also we're seeing the ATF on scene, this is a pretty serious situation, and they do believe that they're dealing with what looks like a real explosive. So that is why we're seeing this kind of response. Obviously, the NYPD bomb squad, probably one of the best in the world. And the other thing, Wolf, to keep in mind is that the NYPD, their bomb squad, is so good at this in that they get briefed in real time in situations in other cities. Let's say if there's a suspicious package, a bomb that's found somewhere else, like we know of these other 3 locations. The NYPD and their intelligence division and the bomb squad gets briefed almost immediately on what to look for, on what these other packages contain. So going into this, you can be assured for sure that the NYPD, along with the FBI bomb squad in New York, probably knew immediately what they were dealing with, given what they had to deal with in the other situations, really since Monday night. So that's the latest, really, Wolf. And we're just waiting on word that they've actually contained this, that they've actually have this device, and they know what they're dealing with, and that it's okay for people to go inside. But it could be just a little more time before people are allowed inside here, Wolf.
They want to certainly err on the side of caution right now, given the nature of this suspicious package, presumably containing projectiles, metal, potentially a bomb. Kate Baldwin, you've been evacuated from the Time Warner Center as well. You were getting ready to anchor your show. So walk us through where you are and what you're seeing and hearing.
Hey there, Wolf. I'm right on the corner of 58th and 9th right now. And what we've been seeing is what we've been hearing from my colleagues all morning, which is increased police presence, FDNY, SWAT vans, what looks like an explosion containment device being brought in. And from our perspective, it's been more vehicles, more law enforcement vehicles coming in to the area around the Time Warner Center than leaving. At one point, there's some confusion on the ground how far away we needed to be from the building, how close we could all be. We cleared the block as FDNY and NYPD were pushing us back. And then probably about 10 minutes ago, they wanted to push us back a half a block further. I have not been able to get a good read on exactly what that indicates, if that indicates anything at this point. So right now, I can show you, I'm going to try to walk a little bit closer to get as close as we can. Well, what we've been seeing just in the last minute is you've seen FDNY setting up a command post right here past this stanchion, past this metal, past the metal fence right here. And what we're doing is we are standing here waiting. I've been trying to get updates. Trying to get updates from FDNY, from the NYPD on the ground. And what they say is right now the situation is serious. It is active. And no one is getting anywhere in or out, and it's just gathering. And look, this is the situation. Let me just show you right here, Wolf, if we can, Phil, if you can pan. Even if construction crews who are stuck in the middle of this, because this is how this all went down today, and everyone's still waiting to find out what's been happening. What happened this morning? You knew it was something unusual. We all have these drills. Every major company does, of course. The fire alarm system goes off, but it happened during my colleague's show, Jim Sciutto, Poppy Harlow, on air, and you know that it was something different, and we were all told to evacuate. Everyone very orderly came down the 5-6 flights of stairs that we were on and left the building. But when you saw the police presence that has been out here, Wolf. And it's been, I mean, I'm telling you, they're taking this very seriously. You can see the looks on their faces. We know now from the great reporting of Shimon Prokupecz coming in what the Time Warner Center is dealing with. They're taking the situation very seriously. We're standing here, and it's been quite a sight to see the men and women of the NYPD and the FDNY and how quickly they can lock down this block. But it is locked down, no question, right now. Command post, FDNY command post being set up right behind me as we're speaking, Wolf. And we're standing by to see exactly what more we can learn, what more we can bring you, and to be honest, what exactly is happening. I want to get some updates from some of my colleagues that are also in the same situation. Athena Jones. Athena, if you can hear me, where are you? I haven't been able to see you yet, Athena. Where are you?
Hi, Kate. I'm at the other end of the block from where you are. I'm at 58th and 8th Avenue on the corner here. You can see behind me a group of policemen. Beyond them, I'm not sure if you can make it out now. We're seeing the other end of that containment truck that you mentioned. It looks like a cement truck, a concrete truck mixer that's been cut off at one end, a giant hole. That is called a containment truck. That is where they will put this device and most likely take it to a place called Rodman's Neck. That's a facility in the Bronx that the bomb squad uses to handle these sort of potential explosives. So that is what we're seeing. As you can see also this huge police presence. And let's remind folks, Kate, of where we are. We're in the heart of New York. We're in Midtown New York, a very, very busy area. And the Time Warner Center, the entire center next to me, has been evacuated. This is not just office buildings containing CNN, Time Warner, Warner Media, the offices of TNT and Turner. There's also an entire shopping mall here and a Whole Foods grocery store in the basement. So we're talking about dozens and dozens of stores and business establishments, all of which have been evacuated.
All right, Athena, thank you so much. If you guys can still hear me, I'm trying to get a sense. Let me just find out. Is there any plan for any briefings? Have you heard anything yet? Just trying to get a sense. Is there any plan for briefings of the NYPD or the FDNY as I'm standing here near this command post? I've decided just from the sense I'm getting, this doesn't look like this is going to be ending anytime soon. Let me give you a sense. Let me turn around and just show you the roadblocks that we're looking at, because we cannot get any closer, as I've told you. But here we are, 58th and 9th. I mean, this is the heart of, we're in the heart of New York City right now. This is closed off. This was closed off. They're still trying to let traffic go down 9th Avenue, but as you can guess, the congestion is intense right now as everyone's trying to figure out. We posted there's apartment buildings, hotels, all along this block, and they're all trying to get in. Parking garages, everyone's been trying to ask to go in to get to their parking garage, and obviously no one's going anywhere anytime soon. This is where we are right now. It's outside the Time Warner Center. I want to go back over to Washington. I want to bring in Shimon Prokupecz. Shimon, I have not been able to get a sense, if you can hear me, Shimon, of timing here. Obviously, they have this under control. You don't sense that anything is out of control here, the NYPD, FDNY, that they have this under control. But I haven't been able to get a sense yet of the timing of where they are in terms of disposing of this device, clearing the area, clearing the building. What sense are you getting, Shimon?
Yeah, so I'm talking to NYPD officials there on the ground, and the sense that I'm getting is they believe they do obviously have this under control. They don't think anything is about to explode. They're dealing with a very real situation, what they believe is explosives in this package. We're told that one of the things that's certainly concerning authorities is that this device that they are looking at in New York is similar to other devices that authorities have been investigating. And really right now we don't have a sense of when this is going to wrap up. This could go on for hours. This could be over any minute. We don't know. Really how the bomb squad here works is they're meticulous. They're obviously extremely careful. They do this in teams. And sometimes, as we've seen those kind of moon suits that that the bomb squad police officers and FBI agents that they wear, these technicians, it gets very hot in those suits. So sometimes what happens is you have to move people in and out so that one may work on something for 20 minutes, you then move him out and you bring in another person. So they do this in teams, they do this slow. There's no reason to rush here because they don't believe that there is anything about to explode. There's no imminent danger. Obviously they're dealing with a very dangerous situation, but they don't believe anything's about to explode. Also, Kate, it's important to point out that earlier we had been getting some information. Certainly our CNN Evan President Perez was getting information that there was a package that was intercepted that may have been going to the White House. We're being told by the Secret Service that that's not the case. There was some confusion over that, but we've now cleared that up. It was not a device or a suspicious package that was being sent to the White House. And just to recap, we know of at least 3 other devices which authorities believe are linked to this device. That's the one that was sent to the home of George Soros in New York, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, and then obviously the one that was sent to former President Barack Obama. So now authorities, I could tell you, the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force, now along with the NYPD, the ATF, police and FBI here in Washington, D.C., along with the Secret Service, are all working this extremely hard. They are trying to figure out who is sending this. And the other thing, very, very important to point out, Kate, is that there could be other devices out there. And that's what's got authorities really concerned. Police across the country now looking at this, carefully studying to make sure that there are no other devices being sent to anyone else. Obviously, the big thing here is that there seems to be someone that's targeting political folks. That has authorities concerned, so they're looking at other people in the political world who may be targeted, sending out word to be cautious. The NYPD in New York stepping up security at certain areas, certainly the police here in Washington, D.C., the Secret Service. So this is going to go on for quite some time. It's an ongoing situation, really an ongoing threat that we are all really under at this point, and that authorities need to work through and figure out exactly who is sending these pipe bombs.
On everyone's cell phones here in New York, we all received the same alert. An emergency alert that went out that is talking about the situation here outside the Time Warner Center. It says police activity, residents on West 58th Street between Columbus and 8th Avenue shelter in place immediately is what this alert is. One of those alerts that we all get on our phones, Amber alerts, weather alerts. This one, very different, as you can see. You can see that on my phone. Also seeing, Shimon, I'm also seeing, I want to go to Jim Shooter in just one second, but I'm also seeing a couple police dogs in and about. Seeing some police dogs, haven't been able to get a read on if they're being used, how they're being used, but we're seeing that as well. And more vehicles, more law enforcement coming into this area, not leaving this area. Something I think is important to note. The presence is building. It's not diminishing right now. Let me get over to Jim Shooter, though. I'm told, Jim, that you've got some new news. You've been talking to police.
Hi. Just to get a sense of this is an all-hands-on-deck response from New York authorities. So the bomb squad here right away, of course, New York Police, Strategic Response Unit, firemen here as well. And just as a measure of how seriously they take this, they were just checking this fire hydrant here to make sure it had water pressure in case it would be needed. There's no indication that they do need it now. They're responding inside the building. And we also see in the right-hand side of your screen there that device that looks sort of like the back end of a cement truck there. That's the containment device where once they feel secure, they're going to move the explosive device into that for transport. Poppy was learning they take it to a place, again, for precaution, up in the Bronx, well outside the city. That's where they will take it to examine it further. This is very much an all-hands-on-deck response from the New York Police Department.
We're hearing from the NYPD, Kate, that the bomb squad will transport, in that picture Jim took and brought to air, whatever the device is, to a place called Rodman's Neck, where it will be detonated if it cannot be diffused on scene. So again, the NYPD say it would be, this is what would typically happen, it would be transported to Rodman's Neck, well away from here, but still in the New York City area, and then it would be detonated there if they cannot diffuse it here.
That's right. And the one thing we keep hearing, and I know that my colleagues in Washington are hearing the same, but the New York Police Department telling me that this device so far, based on what they know, similar to the devices they've seen sent to the other locations that we were reporting on the air as we got taken off the air because of the alert inside CNN. So that's the operating assumption, is some connection, but of course it's early in their investigation.
I have been also trying to reach the mayor's office for comment, and we believe he may be on his way here. Of course, we'll try to bring you whatever we can from Mayor de Blasio as soon as possible.
All right, guys, thanks so much. I want to go right now. I want to take you all back to Washington, Washington, D.C. I want to get back to D.C. and Shimon Prokopiev. Shimon, I think you have some new reporting coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, Kate. So, obviously you're asking questions of whether or not the police are going to do any kind of briefing there. We don't know yet, but a little update here. I'm told by officials in New York that they do expect to move this package within the hour. So looks like they're pretty optimistic. They'll be close to a point where it's safe enough to remove this package. I'm told that we're probably going to see people either pushed further back or the more street closures. I'm told that the entire area is going to be frozen once they move this package and place it what we believe will be in this containment truck and then driven to the Bronx where the bomb squad is located, and then they'll probably detonate it there, and then they'll start their investigation into really trying to figure out what this is. So just a small update there for folks that are out there and for our viewers, so they're aware that we could see some movement here within the hour.
We'll see it here first, but I will tell you, from the angle we're at, Shimon, everyone is being kept far away for very good reason at this moment. I saw some more vehicles go in just a short time ago. Unclear what it can tell us and exactly what those vehicles meant. Who is actually coming in. I'm going to bring in Josh Campbell right now, former FBI agent. Josh, can you hear me?
Yeah, Kate, I've got you loud and clear. We're here at the Los Angeles Bureau. As I mentioned, there's obviously been a security presence at news outlets, now around the country, to include the LA Bureau. I just came in. There was a presence here of LAPD officers. No indication of any threat here, but it just kind of shows you how law enforcement around the country monitors these types of situations. They will provide, resources as a precaution. Now, as we look at our screen here, obviously we've seen a number of police officers that have been coming and going. Let's talk about what you see and what you don't see, Kate. What we're seeing on our screen right now is the threat mitigation phase. This is officers setting up a perimeter. They're attempting to obviously mitigate any potential threat here. We saw earlier this bomb disposal chamber that was brought in by the New York City Police Bomb Squad, which will attempt to either render this device safe or move it to a location where they can do so outside the vicinity of a large population. So while that's going on, behind the scenes, there's also the investigation that's going on right now. Obviously, we know now of a number of events that are likely connected based on some of the reporting that we're getting. At least reports suggest that. And so that will be taking place right now also. While the pointy end of the spear is on the screen right now trying to render this device safe, these law enforcement resources are fusing together to share information, to try to investigate, to determine what tips, what clues can they find in these different crime scenes to figure out if they do all point back to each other, and then obviously to move to that phase to try to apprehend whoever the person or persons are responsible for this. The last phase of this investigation is something that officers both in New York and again around the country will be looking at, and that is taking precautions to preempt any type of copycats. Unfortunately, we've seen in these types of scenarios there are depraved individuals out there that will try to capitalize on a lot of the panic that we're seeing in order to create more panic. So that will be something that law enforcement officers will obviously be looking to tamp down. As we've heard from our colleagues, the New York City Police Department trains for this every single day. They have a massive intelligence bureau, resources that are dedicated to monitoring threats all over the world. Right on scene, there will be a command post, a forward deployed command post where NYPD leadership will be working out of, again, to quarterback what's going on there in order to direct resources. But actually back at Lower Manhattan at One Police Plaza, NYPD headquarters, there's also a larger command post that's fusing together, that's sharing intelligence with various law enforcement agencies, monitoring developments all in real time. Again, the goal is to determine what they're dealing with, to gather as much information as they can, to push that information out to the people who need it in order to ensure that this investigation is done properly, and again, that they find and apprehend whoever is responsible. Kate.
I want to see if we can show you. Phil, come here. Can you see it right here? Can you see it right way down there? That cement truck device, the explosive containment device that we all saw coming in earlier. I think Jim Sciutto had a picture that we took to air. They have just repositioned it right next to the entrance of the Time Warner Center. Right there is a parking garage where a lot of my colleagues, where we all park. And it appears from this angle, and also a loading dock, it appears from this angle that they have repositioned that truck to back it in as if that device is heading now somehow into the building. Josh, if you can hear me, can you tell me what the next step is with that device? Shimon has said they want to move the package, if you will. They want to move it out within the hours, is what Shimon told me. What are the next steps here as I'm looking at them repositioning this vehicle and that containment device into the building?
So, Kate, the first step whenever officers arrive on the scene of any type of suspicious package is do that initial assessment to identify what it is that they're dealing with. Now, obviously, we've heard some of the reporting about what this device, what it appears to contain and the size. And again, these bomb squad experts, will arrive. They'll do that initial assessment. The goal is to determine what is the potential blast radius here of any potential device. Are we dealing with a large explosive, again, that, would spread to a large area? Is this something that is likely to remain contained? That's that first initial assessment. And that actually helps them determine how large their perimeter actually needs to be. So all of this is very mechanical. It's something, again, that these officers train for every day. So they'll actually set their perimeter based on how much standoff distance they think they need in order to keep the public safe. So what we're seeing now on the screen as this containment chamber actually rolls back into the loading dock there is it looks like we're starting to see that next step where they will actually be moving the device. Now, they have two options. Officers, they can render a device safe on site. A lot of times we'll see them actually, shooting a device in order to, again, render it safe to determine that there's no, potential threat. We've seen that all the time, in fact, with suspicious devices that happen around the country that actually don't make news. It appears in this case, as the vehicle moves in, that this is something that they will want to move at least to a safe enough distance. We've talked about some of the facilities that are in around New York City. They'll, again, try to get that out of a highly populated area. It appears from the police presence that you have officers that are walking around the truck there, obviously, so it doesn't appear that there's an urgent emergent situation that they're dealing with, but again, taking every single precaution in order to ensure that they get this device out of the CNN Center there in New York and then to a safe place where they can then, render it safe, but also try to ensure to the extent they can that they can preserve any type of evidence that may be helpful in order to, proving their case here, and again, in order to determine were there any connections with other devices, and again.
Okay, guys, I just want to give you guys some updates. I just want to give you guys some updates. We're getting moved back even further. I was told by one police officer that it appears that they're going to be moving the device out. And then another officer just told me not yet, but that appears to be what's happening right now. From our position where we were, as you can see behind me, right against where the FDNY command post was, we're now being pushed back once again. We saw that explosive device, the containment device, if you will, being moved into CNN. Let me just ask really quick. Sir? Okay. We're going to keep moving back. I'm going to try to get one of these guys to give me an answer on exactly why we're moving back right now. But Captain, is this? Are we moving the device? Are we moving the device out? That's what I was told. Yes. Sorry, sir. We're going to keep moving back, everybody.
Yeah, just get past that. Right by that newsstand, please.
We're going to keep moving back. Yeah. All right. So as we're moving back, there's definite movement happening right now. As I was standing up against the gate, stay right here. As I was standing up against the gate, it was almost like a wall of officers and FDNY moving this direction, and it all was with the intention of moving everyone back once again. One officer did say that it does seem to be that they're going to be moving this device out. That would make sense. You can look at where the positioning where we are in the street. We've now been moved across 9th Avenue. We were on the other side of 9th Avenue on 58th, right as we would be on the same block as the Time Warner Center, as I was showing you, as the vehicle is being moved into Time Warner Center. Now they push us on the other side, which would allow for access to get that vehicle out, get the device out if that's what's happening, and keep it as far away from the mass of humanity that is here right now. I'm going to keep an eye on this. While I keep an eye on this, let me go over to Simone. Simone, I don't know if any of that jives with the information that you're getting. Tell me what you got.
It does, Kate. Certainly, I'm being told, as we just said a short time ago, that this was going to be moved within the hour, and it appears that process is now underway. I was told that they're going to push the perimeter. That is, they're going to close off more streets, push people back as they remove this device from our building in New York. And what you're really seeing here is just more precaution by police now that this device is being brought down, now that it's closer to the ground, to the street. They want to move people further back. And what we'll see is they'll put this in this bomb containment unit. They'll put this package in this truck, and then they'll drive it off. There'll be a full police escort with this truck. They'll probably close off streets as they drive it. Now it's going north. It's going to the Bronx. where the bomb squad is housed, where they're located. They have an area there where they'll probably detonate it, and then they'll begin their investigation of really trying to figure out what's inside. But you know, the good news here, I think, for all of us is that they at least feel it's safe enough to move for them, that they can go ahead and bring this down and go ahead and move it into this truck. We're seeing some bomb squad officers there, maybe perhaps FBI agents. They're on scene as well with the NYPD now milling around the truck. So we'll see some movement here soon. And once they move it, hopefully, you know, the offices there will be reopened and things can move on. But the key here, I think, really is that they feel that they're at a point now where it's safe enough for them to remove it, and then really the investigation gets underway after that, Kate.
All right, thanks so much. Sorry, guys, I was trying to get another update from folks. Some of the officers, some of the agents are on the ground right now. Let me go back over to Athena Jones. Athena, can you tell me from your perspective what you see? They've moved us back. They've repositioned one of the fire trucks. It's kind of in the way of our view, but I think it's obviously to protect everybody. Of course it is. What are you seeing from your angle right now?
Right. Well, you're talking about that containment truck that has been repositioned. We saw them close the end of that. It has a big hole. It looks like a concrete mixer that's been cut. The end has been cut off. They closed that, repositioned it so that it's near the parking garage. We know that the mailroom facility is in one of the basements of Time Warner Center, outside of the basement or the sub-basement. And we have a little bit more information about when the package was received. It was received mid-morning, sometime mid-morning in the 9 o'clock hour. You'll remember it was just the beginning of the 10 o'clock hour that there was a fire alarm that could be heard on the air. That is when the evacuation began. So we've been out here for about an hour and a half. We know that the package was received in the 9 o'clock hour, and according to 2 law enforcement sources, the package was addressed to 10 Columbus Circle. Now, 10 Columbus Circle is the address that comes up if you Google CNN. It's not the address that's on our business cards, but that is the address that comes up if someone is searching on the internet for the location of CNN. Now, we still don't know for sure where to whom this package was addressed. We know that the address was 10 Columbus Circle, and again, it was received mid-morning in the 9 o'clock hour. One more thing I want to point out, Kate, is that you can see the officers standing behind me, and along to my left, the cars that are parked along. We've seen bomb-sniffing dogs sniffing along all of those vehicles, including the UPS truck you can see immediately behind me and on down the line. This as now we're seeing dozens and dozens of law enforcement officials on the scene. And as we mentioned earlier, we were here in the last hour or so, or last half hour or so, when John Miller arrived in a motorcade. He is the head of counterterrorism and intelligence for the NYPD. So we know that a lot of top officials are on the scene to get to the bottom of this. Kate?
All right, Athena, thanks so much. So an update for everyone right here on the ground. It seems like now we're in a waiting period. They moved us back. They moved us back another half a block, and we're waiting here as Athena is kind of on the other side. What is going to be happening next? What I do see from where I'm standing right now, and you can probably see it as well, is Shimoda mentioned earlier that when this device is moved out, it will have a police escort. And what I'm looking at right now looks like a major police escort that will happen. I'm going to toss right over to Wolf Blitzer in Washington, though. Wolf?
Right. All right, we're going to get back to you, Kate. We're getting some more information here, and this is very sensitive information. I just want to be very precise in reporting about this suspicious package that was delivered to the Time Warner Center at Columbus Circle, where CNN's New York bureau is located. We have now been told that this suspicious package was in fact addressed to CNN, but it was specifically addressed to the former CIA director John Brennan, a care of CNN at the Time Warner Center at Columbus Circle in New York. John Brennan, the former CIA director, he is a contributor to MSNBC and NBC News, not to CNN. But this suspicious package, which has resulted in the evacuation of the Time Warner Center and whole areas around the Time Warner Center in New York City, was specifically addressed to the former CIA director, John Brennan. We're also getting more information right now from the Secret Service, the U.S. Secret Service, saying saying that apparently there was no suspicious package that was addressed to the Secret Service. There were two suspicious packages that were intercepted by the Secret Service, one addressed to the Clinton residence in Chappaqua, New York, another addressed to the Obama residence here in Washington, D.C. Nothing addressed to the White House, no specific suspicious package, according to the Secret Service, addressed to the White House. Earlier, we had that information. The Secret Service spokesperson now saying only two packages were intercepted by the Secret Service. We do know that there was a suspicious package intercepted heading towards George Soros' residence outside of Washington, as we all know, the Time Warner at the CNN bureau in New York City. Shimon Prokupecz, you're getting some more information as well.
Well, that's right, Wolf. I think exactly what you said there. This device, this package that you're talking about here, sent to 10 Columbus Circle, the mailroom there, our offices at CNN. It was intercepted in the mailroom, and it was addressed to the former CIA director, John Brennan. So now what we have here is you have certainly former Obama administration officials being targeted. You have Hillary Clinton. You have the former President Barack Obama. We have been, as we've been reporting, George Soros. We're being told by officials all of these packages are similar in that the way they were constructed, at least initially, that's what authorities think. We're also told that at least one of the devices appeared to contain projectiles, and that there was shards of glass, so that if this had exploded, it would have actually sent out shards of glass, pieces of glass, if it had exploded. We're also told that the devices were rudimentary, but they're functional, which means essentially that they could have exploded. So really here, authorities now dealing, by all accounts, with perhaps a serial bomber, someone who has now sent at least that we know of 4 bombs, perhaps from everything we know, through the mail. Obviously, authorities now concerned that there could be other devices similar to this out there, and they're now alerting people all over the country really to be cautious. What we expect here, Wolf, just to quickly update folks on the scene there, is that the police, the NYPD, is going to be removing this package, this explosive device that they have found at our offices, and put it in this truck that you're seeing on the right of our screen here, and then it will be driven to the Bronx, where it will likely be detonated, and then they can really begin the investigation into exactly what this device is made of. But authorities in New York are extremely concerned. They know what they're dealing with because they say that this seems to be similar to the other devices, and so now the big thing here is just to try to remove this safely so that no one gets hurt, Wolf.
And a very, very important information that we're now reporting, Shimon. Once again, I just want to update our viewers. The package that was delivered to the CNN New York bureau at the Time Warner Center was actually addressed to former CIA Director John Brennan. That, according to city and local law enforcement officials, John Brennan, a very, very sharp critic of President Trump's. He served during the Obama administration, and we also know suspicious packages were delivered to the Obama residence here in Washington, D.C., the Hillary and Bill Clinton residence in Chappaqua, New York, the George Soros residence outside of New York, as well as once again to the CNN New York City bureau, but that was specifically addressed to John Brennan. I want to quickly read a statement that the Vice President Mike Pence just tweeted. We condemn the attempted attacks against former President Obama, the Clintons, CNN, and others. These cowardly actions are despicable and have no place in this country. Grateful for the swift response of the Secret Service, FBI, and local law enforcement. Those responsible will be brought to justice. That statement just going. And we're now being told more information that the Florida office of Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz has also been evacuated. The former head of the Democratic National Committee, another sharp critic of the president. The area around her office in Florida, we are told, has been evacuated. It's been secured, but the bomb squad down there has been sent to the site. Another very suspicious development. So there's a whole series. And once again, the Secret Service is saying that there were only 2 packages intercepted by the Secret Service, not one, as earlier reported, to the White House. So it looks like the White House was cleared in all of this. Kate, you're there. You're on the scene for us. Tell us what you're seeing.